Welcome to our video on Indonesia, where we will visit Bali, the Gili Islands, and Lombok. Alright, we made it.
We made it.
Got through the customs.
It's about 10:15 on Friday night, and according to what we're used to in Australia, it's like midnight 15. So we're a little tired, but here we go. I'm gonna find our little driver. We're hoping that he's carrying a sign that says like Nemo. So we'll see.
Looking good.
Yeah, we made it.
Okay, so Indonesia was our first trip into a developing country. And so when we arrived, I think it was really sensation overload because there were so many people in the airport. There were a lot of people holding up signs. One of those little signs had our names on it. And then we got in a taxi and went for quite a ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll always remember that shock of going into the streets of Denpasar because it was crazy.
Oh yeah, it was.
There were scooters flying around everywhere. Our driver was like passing people like crazy. And I thought that we were gonna die.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna make it.
You truly know you're an American when within half an hour of arriving in Bali, you find yourself at McDonald's eating an ice cream cone.
Because McDonald's is really cool. They have like their own menu in Bali. They have like a prosperity menu, and they have a mushroom cheesesteak burger and a beef prosperity burger and like black pepper chicken. So it's actually really cool. This ice cream is amazing.
Bali was a little unique for us because we stayed in an Airbnb and our hosts actually arranged some day tours for us throughout the city and throughout the island.
Yep, so we went to like a jewelry making factory, we went to a woven fabric making factory, and we saw a temple, and then we had lunch, and it was neat because we also went with two other people, a couple traveling from London
In Hong Kong?
and we met them and just kind of got to know their itinerary and the other places that they've traveled. So it was neat getting to know other people.
I think my favorite place in Bali was the rice terraces. And unfortunately it was raining when we were there, but I don't think that it didn't really affect our experience.
Yeah.
Because it was still just gorgeous and the clouds were moving over the mountain and we had a good company and we even stopped by a restaurant to wait out the rain for a little bit.
Yeah, we had a buffet lunch and it was amazing home cooked food. Speaking of the food, I really love Indonesian food. It's just full of spices and it's so fresh and delicious, and that just really made the experience as well.
All right, Jackie's attempting to open a
No
coconut.
idea what I'm doing.
I just hope she doesn't lose a finger in the process.
I think you just cut it. Well, see? It won't go, Memo. It won't cut.
Jackie, do you want to eat coconut or not?
It won't go.
This is our dinner tonight.
Wow. And now you eat the little coconut flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
As brightly as we can. I know that it scares you. Get used to what you see and know that I'm a helping hand. I don't wanna change you. I'm just telling you to shine as brightly as you can. As brightly we can. As brightly as we can. As brightly we can do better. Invisible chains are holding us back.
One thing I appreciated about Indonesia as a whole is that it's a very diverse country, especially in terms of the religions that you'll run into. Obviously you have the Hinduism on Bali, you have a lot of Muslims on Lombok, and you also run into Christian and Catholic churches as well.
Interestingly, the Hinduism that is practiced in Bali actually has many elements of Buddhism attached to it as well. So it's interesting to see sort of the hybrid that resulted from the influences and the history of those two religions.
I may be different, but my love is just
After a few days on Bali, we found ourselves hopping on a boat to head to Gili Islands.
Onto the boat.
Getting on a boat. So we got here at about 7:45, and it is now 10:50, and we just got on the boat. So things run a little slowly here. We're getting used to that fact. So 1 o'clock means 4 o'clock, and 10 o'clock means 1 o'clock. Very slow.
So we took a speedboat from Bali over to the Gili Islands, and I can't speak for Jackie, but my favorite part of Indonesia was probably Gili tea, mostly because I felt like we were able to explore a little bit. We had basically a beach almost to ourselves, and of course the electronic dance music was pretty awesome.
Yeah, personally, I feel that Gili tea was made for me. I loved everything about it. If I didn't want to leave, I wanted to just end our trip on Gili tea because I loved it. I swam so much there. Memo too. The water was so warm, beautiful. The people were so nice. It was kind of like a fantasy land for adults, and the music was amazing.
We really lucked out with the weather too, because we
Yeah.
had just some gorgeous sunsets just one day after
Every
another.
single day, and it felt like a dream. It really did.
Jackie really liked our accommodations.
Loved them.
There were lots of mosquitoes in the bamboo hut that we were in. But one of the nights wasn't too bad, but the second night, we got eaten alive.
Yeah, we did.
Aside from the mosquitoes in our bamboo hut, there were tons of tourists on the snorkeling tour that we took, which was kind of a shit show.
Hilarious. Yeah, so you think that when you snorkel and you see turtles, it's like you and these turtles and you're all alone, and it's like, you know, so nice you're in this
And the
moment.
pictures would have you think that.
But in reality, so when we went to Gili Air to snorkel, it was mostly our boat like guide. He would swim out, and he would, you know, or someone with us, another fellow, you know, snorkeler. They would see a turtle, and they would say, "Look, guys, a turtle!" And then all of a sudden, it'd be like 50 freaking snorkelers like swimming.
And the turtle's
swimming,
like,
swimming toward this turtle, and the poor turtle is like trying to swim away from all these like huge, you know, shadows coming toward him.
yeah.
You know, in the distance, and it's probably super scary for the turtles. So we just thought it was hilarious because we saw about 3 or 4 turtles, and yes, we did get very, very close, and we swam with them. I mean, we could almost touch them. We were so close. But it's just kind of funny because that's really how it is. Like, it's not just you and the turtle; it's you and like 100 other people in one turtle, just all trying to get the perfect shot or swim with the turtle. And so
So I didn't realize it was
You know.
going to be like that. Had I known that, you know, it'd be kind of a touristy thing where people kind of harass the turtles, I don't know if I would have done it again.
It was easy for us to see why Gili was such a popular destination. It had beautiful beaches, you can have as much privacy as you want, and the prices around the island were actually very reasonable. Furthermore, it was pretty fun just being on a place where there were no cars, and you can travel around everywhere by bicycle. It was definitely the most relaxing destination that we've been to so far.
as brightly as we can. As brightly as we can. As brightly
So after Gili Islands, we went to Lombok, the island, and we made our way to Mataram, which is one of the closest major cities in the capital, Lombok, to the airport.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm so glad that we actually stayed in Mataram for the day. There's this amazing temple that we saw there.
It was a mosque, it was
Was
a
it? Yeah.
Islam center.
Yep.
I think it was both a mosque and like a center for Islam.
Yes, it was absolutely beautiful, and it was nice to just spend the day there and hang out, have a rest day. Something that we've learned too, we tend to just go, and as we're getting, further and deeper into our trip, we're factoring in more rest days, so as to kind of rest our bodies. And I'm recovering from a cold, so just things like that to just factor in more rest days. There's so many things to see, and you could literally just be going 24 hours a day. So when you do extended travel, it's important, as we're learning, to take days of rest and to just kind of regroup and recharge, and also just be appreciative of the moment and where we're at, because we realize at the same time that we don't want to take these places for granted. We saw so many beaches in Australia, and after a while all beaches look the same, and that's something that we don't want to happen as we continue our way throughout the world.
But as far as Mataram goes, I really enjoyed staying there as well. In addition, because our hotel was actually nicer than our accommodations in Gili, but also because it was one of the first times that we really got away from the heavy touristic industry, both in Bali and Gili, and the Gili Islands. So we were just off on our own in the middle of this city. And Lombok was different from Bali, because it was predominantly Islam there versus the Hindus that live on Bali. So it was really cool, because I've never lived or stayed, in a city where it was predominantly Muslims, rather than, I guess we're used to seeing a lot of Christians or Catholics, or just a mix. But almost, I think 95% of the people that are on Lombok are followers of Islam.
Yes.
And of course, as Jackie mentioned, the edifice itself, the mosque, beautiful building, huge.
Absolutely beautiful.
So I was really happy that our hotel allowed me to fly the drone around the city and capture some really nice shots of that building.
Yeah, the whole city itself is just, you just feel it, like the religious aspect. I mean, when you're there, and it's just infiltrated with this, feelings of the religion, and it's a very special place to be, and it's very unique.
Lots of calls for prayer throughout the day, obviously 5 times.
Yeah, you hear it on the loudspeaker all throughout the day.
Wish we had a little bit more time so we could have explored some of the sites within the city, but we really just needed to rest up, do laundry, and catch our flight to Kuala Lumpur the following day. I think throughout our travels and meeting other travelers, people really, really like Bali. And for me, I think it was, the beaches and the sites and the forests and the volcano on Bali were really fantastic. However, there were some things that I didn't anticipate before arriving there. And I think, a lot of people tend to hype up, certain aspects of Bali, but some things I didn't expect was how big and how urbanized Denpasar was in the surrounding metropolitan area. Also, there was, in general, I think a lot more trash and garbage around than I expected. But that just tells me that, the government just doesn't have that infrastructure in place to take care of a lot of trash. And so that also surprised me. And then number 3, if you stay on the, a touristic track, and if you don't get outside of some of those heavily frequented establishments, whether it's a restaurant or a hotel, Bali wasn't as cheap as we expected. For us, I think it was because our hotel arranged everything. Things were probably a little bit more expensive than I thought they would be.
Yeah, so you hear about things being so cheap, and in some places they are, but also know when you're going into it that there are places that aren't, and so just be prepared for that. And I think that's what Memo is saying.
But overall, an incredible experience, and I'll always remember Indonesia and Bali, the Gili Islands, and Lombok.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's a wrap for Indonesia.
Indonesia, yeah. So
overall,
in a nutshell, loved it.
Yeah.
Another awesome country, great experience. Most of good things to say about it. Despite the mosquitoes, well worth it. Have some mosquito bites to take with us to the next country, but so worth it.
Absolutely. All right.
Thanks for watching.
I may be
All right, hello everyone.
Hi. Oh, there's a bug.
Oh,
Hold on. As soon as he started talking.
got him.
Okay, go get